up 2. Knicks no more fouls to give. It's a 9-0 New York run to lead by 9.
What's up, y'all? My name is D. Lee, and today I'm going to be showing you why Trae Young is the 2022 NBA MVP candidate, and the Hawks' recent struggles are the perfect example for showing his dominance and his importance to the team. I feel like there's been a lack of a media buzz or any sort of narrative around him becoming an MVP. He only just recently cracked the top 10 NBA MVP ladder, and there's just a general lack of conversation around his greatness and what he's been doing this season. I'm the biggest Hawks fan in the world. I've had Trae Young 2022 NBA MVP in my Twitter bio forever, since the end of last season, and I'm here to rep for him. I've got a ton of film for y'all. I've got stats to back it up, and I'm really going to show y'all why he deserves to be in the MVP conversation this year. He should also be an all-star starter, and he definitely needs to be all-NBA because he was snubbed last year, and it's not going to happen again this year. Come on, stop playing with him, okay? So we're going to get straight into the film breakdown. And if you know anything about Trae Young, you know his playmaking is off the charts. Now this is from the game against the Bulls, and what really starts with Trae Young's game is his lob game. Because we have Capella and we have Collins, there's always constant pressure that he can generate on the defense. When he gets here, you can see he's got the eyes of every single defender on the court, and the guy has to come all the way into the paint because also Vucevic isn't the best big in terms of pick and roll coverage. So we were running pick and rolls all night, and we have two shooters right here, both Bogdanovich and Reddish, who are deadly, especially Cam, who's been shooting almost 45% on catch and shoot. So this is easy money. He's making that all day, right? And it starts with the lob game and it ends with the lob game. Trae has one of the best floaters in the game as well, so anytime he's going into the lane like this, they never know what's really gonna happen. Like Vooch is just stuck. He doesn't know what to do because it could be a float, it could be a skip pass to the corner, a lot of different things, right? This was an insane pass. I mean, he's 6 feet tall. 6 feet tall. So currently he's averaging about 9.3 assists, which is 3rd in the NBA, only behind Chris Paul, I think, and James Harden. And the other thing is, like, we just have a lot of skilled bigs. Despite all the COVID protocols, thankfully we're getting some guys back, but now currently we have 13 people in protocols. Now this pass was crazy. When I saw this pass, I had to rewind it. I'm gonna show y'all one more time here, and I'm gonna slow it down. With, like, just look at this. Before he even comes off the pick, the entire defense is looking at him. As soon as he makes this move, look how far Troy Brown is in the paint. He has no chance of recovering, right? And because I think they've got the two shooters in the corner, it completely spaces out the floor. And you have to respect the roll and the floater too. It's an insane pass. I mean, look at that. It's just crazy. And then he was doing this to them all night. I mean, you can't really guard this. You have to respect the roll. You have to respect the drive to the rim. It's an amazing pass. And he had tons of them like this. Here's another skip pass. Crazy. 6 feet tall. 6 feet tall. Oh yeah, and this is one of my favorites too from earlier in the season. John and Trae had the best chemistry in the game. I mean, look at that. That looked like a floater until the last second. Oh yeah, the Phantom Cam. I mean, he's 6 feet tall. An absolutely generational playmaker. And then, honestly, if Capella would make more layups, he'd be leading the league. Respectfully, I love you, Capella, but dude, you gotta get that touch up. Oh, this is crazy. Watch this. Bro, who's doing that? Like, really? There's really 3 guys, maybe 4, 5, who can do this? So he's an all-time level playmaker, one of the best playmakers in the league currently. Threats all over the floor. Oh yeah, this is, and we're gonna revisit this later on too, but this is just crazy. I mean, who's doing that? He finds angles that nobody else sees. It's ridiculous. And the head fake there to get Giannis in the air and then wrap the bounce pass around. Incredible, man. Look at this. Look at that head fake. Oh yeah, this is from opening night against the Mavs also. Just he uses the defender's body to, oh my god. And the timing on the lobs has always been crazy too. Put that boy on a poster, man. like this also. This is he has every pass in the book. He's got the bounce pass to the middle. He's got the skip pass to the corner. He's got the lob to the top. Everything. Look at this. Between two defenders, perfect bounce pass with the left hand. He unlocks everything about our offense. And this is a chart from the NBA. He's second in the NBA in assist points created at 24. Of course, Chris Paul's leading the NBA in assists currently. And you see that he has a very high assist to pass percentage also, right? Which is right up there behind Chris Paul. So, I mean, it's fair to say that him and Chris Paul are the best playmakers in the league. And then, of course, you got to get to the three-level scoring, because not only is he a playmaker, he's an incredible scorer. And this really blew my mind. There are only 4 players who average 1 or more threes from 25 to 29 feet, 1 made shot from 15 to 19, and 2 or more made shots less than 5 feet from the basket. And they're all way bigger, like KD, who's rubbing up on him, Embiid, Paul George. These are all big guys who they can elevate over anybody, but Trae is up there in scoring with the same sort of diversity as they are. In addition, he's got a really high field goal percentage from mid-range also. And like we know, he's got the deep 3 in his bag. We know that. But look how he gets downhill. Like he gets downhill, and he's one of the quickest guys in the league also. He can finish with either hand. Like it's just nothing you can do. Kobe was getting cooked in the first half. I mean the first quarter. He was going crazy in the first quarter. It was his first game back. And even when he misses shots, because his floaters are so soft, it gives the bigs a chance to rebound. See that the behind the back nasty. Because you got to respect the pass too. You got to respect the pass. That's what makes him so good. And he's been incredible from mid-range this year also. So out of players with more than 100 mid-range attempts, he's 4th in the league in mid-range percentage, and he's taking 100, which is like a little bit like smaller sample size than KD, but similar to Chris Paul, and he's at 54%. And this is something that he didn't have in the previous seasons, and it's unlocked more ways for him to score in the pick and roll coverage. You'll see here. A lot of times when he would come off downhill, like he would have to either get to the rim or he would shoot a 3. And now that he's at this and that, you'll see this in the pick and roll right here. So when the pick comes on the left side, he's lost in the pick, and now he can just step back comfortably to his left after the guy popped. It's unlocked a lot for his scoring. And especially when you look at his shot distribution by year, and I found this on StatMuse, you can see how much more areas of the court that he's scoring from. I mean, especially you see all around the elbows, right below the break, all of these, like, now he's a real 3-level scorer. Like a lot of times he was getting the majority of his points at the rim, at floaters and threes, and now he can score from all over. He's doing it against, I like the little twerk move. You know he has the twerk move also. Like the mid-range has been nasty this year. Snatch, left him. Because now you have to respect every time, as soon as he comes off the pick, he's a danger from every point on the court. He's dangerous to score. And also his 3-point percentage, when he came into the league, people were trying to compare him to Steph Curry, and obviously he still has the potential to be there, but I think his greatest skill is his playmaking. But he's currently shooting around 37% from 3, and he went nuts against the Bucks. It was personal. It was 100% personal. He had 7 threes in the first half, but he's at 37% on the year, which is, I mean, on about 7 attempts per game. Like, you can't ask for better. And the other thing is, he's had 3 back-to-back games of really poor 3-point shooting, so I think he was actually near 38 or 39% before the last 3 games. And so, I mean, you can't ask for, and you know, sometimes he does still take out of rhythm early shot clock threes from really deep, but honestly, as the best player on our team, I can't really be that mad at him. I think the next step for him, he's shown he's able to do that. He's very capable of that, but the next step for him is probably getting more off the ball looks. And if you remember that shot chart, he had virtually 0 attempts from the corner or anywhere else besides above the break. Even like on the lower wings, there's not a lot of, I mean, there's off-ball movement when he doesn't have the ball, but it's often like to get the ball back in his hands. That was nasty. But it's often to get the ball back in his hands. It's not to get him into a shooting position. So I think that's really the next level for him, because if he can become that off-ball threat just like Curry is, and it's over a 7-footer, that's nasty. That's nasty. And because his dribble, his drive is so scary that you have to respect it. Slower-footed guys, like Blake Griffin had no chance. I don't even know what they were doing lining him up against him. And like I was saying, like the last 5 games, you can see he's struggling a bit from 3, but he had a 5 for 9 game, and he completely killed the Rockets, even though we blew that lead. We won't want to talk about that, but. And this is some more footage from the Bulls game, mainly because I want to show y'all, like, he still has some of these not low IQ moments, but like suboptimal shots. Like that was straight. That wasn't even. We didn't get any ball movement there. Same thing here. And like these are shots that I'm more than comfortable with him taking because I trust that they'll go in eventually. Like I said, this was his first game back from Kobe protocols against the Bulls. So he went 1 for 6, but those are shots I think he'll make. And he's undoubtedly the greatest offensive edge of the 2022 season. This is looking at the Raptor metric. If you're not familiar with 538's Raptor metric, it's basically an aggregate plus-minus statistic that measures the number of points a player contributes to his team's offense and defense per 100 possessions relative to a league average player. So they look at the box score component, like statistics and player tracking, and they also look at the on-off, which is what you see here, box score Raptor, on-off Raptor. And as you can see, he leads the league and is just above Jokic and Curry, and offensive Raptor. And among point guards, I believe he's second total behind Curry. So while, there's a narrative around Trae that he's a negative defender, and while the statistics may show that, his offensive impact completely negates any sort of defensive, any sort of lack of defensive impact. His offensive impact is so great that it just completely negates that. John Collins, I really feel, unlocks a lot of our offense, so I included a clip from
so many
podcast.
of your dunks have occurred in the two-man game, the pick and roll with Trae. And he is, I've never seen anyone like him that disguises a lob floater combo. I mean, as a viewer, and even playing against him, I never know half the time if he's throwing a lob or shooting his floater.
Just like JJ was saying, I'm gonna show you two different clips of what he did against the same team. This is what I showed earlier, but that's a super unorthodox pass. And then you'll see when they play in Utah, he does the same thing, but he actually lays the ball up. And Whiteside was frozen. He didn't know what to do.
A lot of the times with Trae, I feel like why I've been able to garner so much great chemistry is his late decision making and my ability to jump late, as you said, because you don't know when he's going to throw it, and it just gives him extra time to know, all right, I'm gonna float in the air, I'm gonna wait until you make a decision, and I'm gonna do the opposite of what you do, because I know if I throw the lob to JC, I know he's ready. He's ready. And that's sort of a trust, right? He knows I'm ready for it.
And so like John is saying, you can always see that he's always ready to jump. This is one of the latest lobs I've ever seen. That looked like a layup until the very last second. And because John is such an exceptional athlete, and because they have such great chemistry, they have so many different delivery angles. They've got the short roll. It's just powerful, bro. Another short roll right here. Finishing through contact. He doesn't get the calls he deserves. Got the double roll. Man, he dunked that for like 5 feet out. And then off the nice cut off the corner, caught a body. Another nasty pass. Ooh, Niang. John is a huge key to our offense. They complement each other better than any other pick and roll combo in the NBA. Trae averages the most pick and rolls and most points out of pick and roll at 15.6 and 15.2 respectively. And John Collins averages 1.53 points per possession as the roll man. You see this disgusting dunk, put that young boy through the rim. And he just offers so many options out of the pick and roll. He can pop, he can catch on the short roll, make alley-oop passes to our center, so many different things. And I also want to take a look at Trae's defensive impact. This is all 6'4" guards who play 20 minutes at least 20 games, and are sorted by amount of shots contested. And it seems this would say that Trae contests 1.7 shots per game, which seemed pretty low until I looked at the film from against the Bulls, and it seems like a lot of times he's there, he's just not getting a hand up in time. And I personally feel like this game in particular, it was because Vucevic loves to destroy us. Even when he was the Magic, he would just cook us. So I feel like he was a defensive point of emphasis on defense. But Trae doesn't tend to get blown by a lot. It's just because a lot of times bigger guards can take advantage of his size. But look, he stops ball here pretty effectively, makes him give it out. And Levine was just making some tough threes all night. Tough threes. He's a sniper. But even look, against Levine, who's got one of the quickest first steps in the league, he's there. Gives his big man time to contest the shot, ends up in a block. And here, Trae's not gonna offer much rim protection, but how many guards are, And that was Cam's rotation. He fell asleep a little bit. Trae, he offered plenty of rim protection against Bum Simmons, so he has that Hall of Fame Intimidator badge whenever necessary. But seriously though, Trae is not as bad as a defender as people make it seem. And Ben Simmons, bro. But he's not as bad as a defender as people make it seem. So I'm looking at defensive field goal percentage here. And it actually seems as if Trae Young is around Gary Payton II and Lou Dort, who are two guys who are very renowned for the defense. And you can't ask for more from your 6-point point guard, right? He's only 6 feet tall, but he's seems to have some sort of, not in transition. Transition is really where you see his lack of defensive impact. But I mean, how many, like I said, how many guards are really positives on the defensive end, especially nowadays? And I feel like Trae is, the game's slowing down for him. He's becoming a positive defender because he's learning how to play passing lanes. He's learning how to be smart when he's reaching. He's not getting caught reaching. He gets his hand right there to get into the pass, ends up in a layup. So he's in that Steph arc. You know, Steph was a negative defender for most of his career because of his small size and lack of strength. But now at one point, Steph led the league in steals because he was so smart with his reach. And he was so smart. He's become much more active on the off-ball defensive end as well. You can see he gets his hand in there, he gets the steal from Jordan Poole. His activity level has been great. The Hawks have been pretty bad this year. We're under 500. We're dealing with a significant injury to DeAndre Hunter. Onyeka just recently came back and then immediately got COVID. We have 13 guys on the COVID protocols. The College Park Skyhawks played against the Bulls yesterday, and Trae Young has still been the best offensive player in the league by a decent margin. He was already a generational playmaker. He's become even better. He's diversified his scoring, and he's completely lifted this team. Without us, we would be a lottery team. We'd be one of the worst teams in the league. Trae Young does not need your respect, but he demands it by the quality of his play. He is an MVP caliber player, an all-star starter caliber player, and an all-NBA first-team caliber player, and he deserves that respect. Thanks y'all for watching. If you got this far, I hope that my video showed that Trae Young has had an incredibly phenomenal season, that he deserves to be in the MVP conversation. Please consider subscribing. I'm going to put out multiple videos weekly, focusing on certain topics and hot topics around the NBA. And I'm going to put up my Twitter as well. Make sure you drop me a follow. Thank you. Y'all be safe.
I don't need directions, the only way is up. Money is the way to get away from all these suckers. Stack on hundreds, I ain't your boss, but keep it coming. I know some niggas that's lost, that got no jumper like they drumming. I know that it's a cost, some shit in life you really want.